When you think execution, you probably imagine a quick drop, a clean cut, a merciful ending. Medieval Europe didn't. They turned death into entertainment, a theater of pain, a public carnival where the price of entry was simply being alive long enough to watch someone else stop being. And here's the part nobody wants to admit. You, yes you, would have gone. Everyone did. Because executions weren't just punishment, they were warnings carved into human flesh, messages written in agony. But 4 executions stand above the rest, not for justice, not for law, but for pure, unfiltered spectacle. So buckle in, hold your stomach, and maybe don't eat for the next 8 minutes, because we're about to walk through the darkest backstage pass in medieval history. Starting with a man who learned what happens when a king gets angry and refuses to wait for karma. You're about to meet a knight who survived war, but not the queen. His name was Hugh Despenser, advisor, ally, and professional parasite to King Edward II. Imagine a medieval corporate ladder climber, but instead of brown-nosing, he conquered estates and bullied nobles. He didn't just make enemies, he manufactured them in bulk. But his biggest mistake? Crossing Queen Isabella, a woman who made vengeance look like an art form. When she finally overthrew the king, she didn't just want Hugh dead. She wanted his existence deleted from history with extreme prejudice. So they dragged him to the scaffold on a half-starved horse, banners waving, crowds roaring like it was the Super Bowl of suffering. Then came the main event. They hanged him just long enough to feel the panic, but not long enough to die. Cut him down, stripped him, carved him open, pulled out the things a man usually keeps inside. The message? Don't cross the queen. The crowd ate it up, because in the Middle Ages, justice wasn't blind. She was a drama addict. But if you think that was excessive, wait until you meet the man who survived fire by exploding. Picture this, you're accused of murder. Not with a sword, not with poison, but with bad meat. Richard Roos, a cook for a bishop, was blamed for poisoning stew, which, for the record, medieval stew didn't need help being dangerous. So King Henry VIII, famous for his emotional stability, decided boiling was the perfect fate. They chained Roos, lowered him into a giant cauldron, and let the town watch him cook alive like some kind of human soup. People said the screams sounded like a kettle singing. Some covered their ears, most didn't. But the Middle Ages wasn't done yet. Let's talk about the exploding execution. Somewhere in medieval Persia, a condemned man was sentenced to be catapulted into the air with gunpowder strapped to him. Science time. Gunpowder doesn't care if you're guilty. It only cares if you're flammable. They lit the fuse, the crowd waited, and when the cannon went off, he became a firework with a legal reason to exist. A human meteor with a one-way ticket to everywhere at once. Explosive justice, literally. But none of these compared to the medieval method designed not just to kill, but to break your soul first. Execution 3. Sawing. If you just flinched, congratulations, you're still human. This was reserved for traitors, thieves, heretics, basically anyone who annoyed the wrong noble. They'd hang you upside down so the blood stayed in your brain, keeping you awake. Then 2 executioners would pull a long, toothed saw between your legs. Downward, slow, deliberate, methodical. They didn't rush. Why would they? Pain was the point. Crowds watched. Kids watched. This was Tuesday. Execution 4. The breaking wheel, also known as the wagon wheel, the Catherine wheel, or the medieval chiropractor from hell. You'd be stretched out on the ground, the executioner would raise a heady cartwheel and bring it down again and again, shattering bones like twigs.
Arms, legs, ribs, everything but the spine, because the spine kept you alive, and alive was good for business. Then your twisted body was woven into the wheel and hoisted up high, left to rot, scream, or pray, whichever came first. The Middle Ages weren't just violent, They were theatrical. Pain was a language. Executions were punctuation. And fear was the glue that kept kings on thrones and peasants in line. But here's the truth historians whisper. People watched because life was short, brutal, random, and seeing someone else die slowly made their own survival feel like a victory. The medieval world didn't just kill people, it performed death. And the echoes of those performances, they still whisper through history, reminding us that civilization is only civilized when it wants to be.